So, someone asked me the other day, hey, about that name that you call yourself, that you call your YouTube page, BroScience Mo. Why did you choose that? That's kind of a silly name because it goes against everything that you believe in. You should have called yourself Science Mo because you live by the science of weightlifting and bodybuilding. Yet you call yourself BroScience Mo. BroScience kind of goes against everything that works in bodybuilding as far as most people think. But that's where I differ. I don't think that BroScience, the word or the term as I believe it, goes against science at all. The way I see it, science has a way of evolving and changing. And every couple of months, it comes up with different answers to the same question. In other words, is cholesterol from eggs a good thing or a bad thing? Is cholesterol from avocados a good thing or a bad thing? Is it the fat in it? How much should you eat? Is butter good? Is margarine good? Is no fat butter good? Is low fat butter good? Is skim milk good? Skim milk not good? Is milk good? Is meat good? Maybe chicken is good. It changes. One day, the scientific findings of this month, or whoever's paying for this type of finding, a specified finding, changes what we consider good or bad. So we don't know from one day to the next what's good or bad because it keeps changing depending on what they want to find. But where BroScience comes in is that BroScience is the accumulated knowledge of the gym world. BroScience is what we all believe in, right? Those of us who work out and who've worked out for a long time. BroScience is what we've learned from the other guys who have been working out for a long time, handed down generation after generation by some of the original bodybuilders of the day, Frank Zane, Arnold, all those guys, Steve Reeves, who learned how to work out and then pass that information down. Today, you get on the internet and there are 1,000, maybe 1 million, I don't know, I can't even count it, how many sites will tell you how to work out, right? There are a ton. So you would think that would make it easier to work out. But the reality of it is, it actually makes it harder to work out. What used to be simple, and you think would make it even simpler by having access to more information, is just the opposite. It has not made anything easier. It's actually made it harder because you can't sort out fact from fiction, truth from falsehood, because it's all pushed together down your throat on the internet, and the internet is the big black hole of truth. You don't know what's true and what's not, and it makes you wonder, is there a real truth? Is there real fact? Or is it just all opinion, right? So what is BroScience? BroScience is the way of taking all this accumulated knowledge, right, that's been passed down from the gym gods, like Arnold and those guys, all the way down to today, right? Why I say BroScience? It's simply because BroScience is guys from the gym applying scientific principles and then figuring out which ones work and which ones don't, right? There are a lot of things out there that are being sold that just don't work. If you start working out today and you look online, there are 1 million things being sold to you, and it'll get you jacked. It'll get your, protein synthesis, and it'll get muscles growing right away. But you don't know as a beginner if it's fact or fiction. You don't know if it's true or false. But you ask a guy who's been working out for 10, 20 years, he'll tell you which ones work and which ones don't because he's probably tried them all. That's what BroScience is. BroScience is the common man's, or the thinking man's, in my case, accumulation of knowledge over time. And that's where BroScience comes in. Someone who has been in the gym long enough to be able to separate fact from fiction and distill it into a perfected form and offer it to people on the internet, right? And my site, that's exactly what I aim to do, right? Because you can't tell what's true or false. You can't tell what's fact or fiction, right? And you can't say, well, let me follow a site that only goes by science, that only says we will look at how the science breaks down. Well, if I remember correctly, there were many guys who worked out long ago that science completely said, what you're doing is wrong. But those guys said, no, I feel it's right. I feel like it's working because I can tell it's working. So how can science be telling me it's wrong? One of those guys, one of those big guys in that entire movement was Arnold. And he had weird, odd workouts. Same thing with Frank Zane. He went against the grain. He did not go by the rules, right? Because he felt that every person who lifts weights has an innate sense of how he should be working out, what works for him specifically, right? So all he did was take the overarching principles, or I should say maybe the underlying principles of what works and what does not work in building muscle, in burning fat, and giving you a sculpted, lean look. They all believed the same thing. Some wanted more size, some wanted less size, but it's all the same principles. And BroScience is what is the distillation of all that knowledge that's been handed down over the years. So if you look at science today, the sites that say, well, what does the science say about this exercise? The science says a lot. You check back that same site next month, and the science will say something completely different about that same exercise next month. But what does BroScience say? BroScience has tested it all before. It knows what works and what does not work. See, BroScience is the native knowledge, the native intelligence of the gym world, of the people who work out all the time. That's carried on time and again, and it's been handed down from one generation to the next. When I started working out, there were old guys, there were Russian guys in the gym, all of them with strapped up knees and bad back, and they would just come to us and say, okay, listen to me. I know ass of grass is great, but you don't have to go all the way down to the ground. And I'm like, why? Ass to grass is what's the prevailing science today. And they're like, yeah, that's the prevailing science today because in a perfect world, it should be better because you're gonna use more muscles are gonna fire from more parts of your ass by going down to the ground, ass to grass, than if you go 3/4 of the way. And they were like, yes, that is correct. But why do you need those muscles to fire? In what sport are you using that? And they were like, well, if you go 3/4 of the way, it saves your knees, right? Because they all had strapped up knees because they were all taught to go ass to grass. They all had bad knees because they ground down to the bone. The constant hundreds and hundreds of sets of squats down to the ground, and you're starting from such a negative position if you go ass to grass that you give it a lifetime of lifting and lifting heavy weights ass to grass, and your knees will be gone. So what they did, they would see us in the gym, the young guys doing that, they'll say, no, you don't have to. Yes, it's okay to do this, but don't do it all the time. If you're going to go ass to grass, if you're going to go all the way down, do it maybe once a month in your workout. But most of the time, go 3/4 of the way. Why? Because you get a better push from 3/4 of the way. Think of any sport. Are you going all the way down to the ground and then jumping up? They're like, no, it doesn't carry over to the sport, right? You go 3/4 of the way down with that weight and you push up. Think of football, think of basketball, think of baseball. You only are going to go down to a certain level and then burst, right? And that's where 3/4 of the way weights comes in. And that went against the grain of what we all believed is the way you're supposed to go. But it made sense. So you listen and you carry that on. And so what's the right answer? The right answer is ass to grass, or is the right answer 3/4 of the way? It's neither. The right answer is neither A nor B. It's somewhere in between. And that's where this thing called BroScience comes in handy. It is what I always try to tell everyone. There are 1,000 different ways to work out that will gain you muscle. But which one is right for you, right? You have to know. But there are some principles that trumps all of them. And if you just use that principle as your foundation, you can then keep going and then figure out what is best for you as time goes on. And you will tweak that and tweak that and tweak that in your own way, right? Because everyone has to figure out what's right for them, right? So that's what I teach in my site, the accumulated distilled knowledge, the principles that work. I don't tell you how many reps and how many sets of anything to do. I don't tell you how many exercises to do, which exercises to do. I give you principles. I give you theory. I give you philosophy. I give you science. But it's a science that's been proven right over time, not science of today, not science of this week, not science du jour. Right? Because the science will fail you in that it changes all the time. As better machinery and ways of testing become known, they will retest the same theories that they have, but come up with different answers time after time. So you can't say, let's just follow the science. You got to follow the science that's worked. That's what BroScience is. BroScience is the accumulation of gym knowledge passed on from generation to generation. It's the gym knowledge that we know that worked, right? And so that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what BroScience is. It's the actual real stuff, all right? So that's it for me, guys. I'm gonna post this up. You're gonna see it on YouTube. People are passing by and trying to get in the video on the street here. So go to my site. Please give me a subscribe. Always, I'm here for you. I'm passing down knowledge. I'm passing down accumulated knowledge. That's what BroScience is, man. Don't sleep on BroScience, because it's science applied in real life. That's what BroScience is, and it works. And I'm here to bring that back, right? Science by itself. You got a ton of scientists with a lot of brains. They got no muscle. You got a lot of guys with muscles in the brain, in the gym, but they have no knowledge because they use steroids. But you got very few people who have learned how to take science and apply it practically in real life, in the gym, and make it work. That's what I do. That's where I come in handy. All right? BroScience, love you. Everyone, please give me a thumbs up and, and a subscribe. All right? That's it.